President Donald J. Trump has done for this nation, they are going to do their best to just make him look awful in the eyes of the people in the world. All because his presidency and his ability to appoint the right judges and certain people in power to bring the corrupt to justice has freaked those people out, and they're doing everything they can, though it's evil and awful like what Jesus went through, and though it's as evil as the tyranny and betrayal of Judas' act against Jesus, they still go forth to do evil against President Trump. This coronavirus, it was no whoops. Folks, China in bed with Democrats, career corrupt politicians that didn't like America's prosperity. Do you know that the gains of the United States of America by Donald J. Trump's America First leadership and the American people's reaction to his new set forth policies for economic growth that caused the greatest economy in the world to come forth in just 3 years? Do you know all our gains set them back? Every time we gained, they went backwards. Every time we went up, they went down. Every time we as America went forward, they went backwards. Some reported that there was such winning going on in the United States of America economically and globally, financially, to our benefit, that it set back China 15 years in their economy. Yeah. Well, don't you know China didn't like that? And don't you know that the career politicians that are on the take, that have been a part of this corrupt pay-for-play empire for years, that were losing money themselves, don't you know those wolves are trying to find a way to crucify President Trump's presidency? It's true. And that's where this virus came from, folks. China and those people. And I want you to know something, folks. God in heaven knows the root and fruit of everything. He knows the why and the how come of all things. He traces even the secret things of the heart. And any secret men try to do in the dark is like they do it in open daylight before the awareness of God. And he saw what happened. He heard them talk in the secret chambers. He heard them make the sinister plan. He saw them executed. And he's seeing them executed right now. But you know some folks, the Spirit of the Lord said, these people are guilty of murder. And he will judge and hold every one of them to account to that measure, unless they publicly come forth and renounce what they did, confess it publicly what they did, because what they did went public, and admit to all the sinister plan, and that yes, we did this, and yes, the side effects, it murdered a lot of people because it was sent by human hands, and my hands was involved. And I confess this before the world. If they don't, there will be no forgiveness for them, folks. And when they die, they will suffer the worst hell that goes on in hell. You make a deal with the devil on that measure, friend, you're going to be dealt something by God. A judgment that you will cry for all eternity. It had been better that you had never been born. Folks, President Donald J. Trump is not the problem with the United States of America. His record before all this attack, this sinister, evil attack befell us by the Democrats in China, was second to none in winnings for you and I, the American people. This was wrought by enemies within and enemies abroad. And you and I are not to sit there and say, well, Trump's the problem. He wasn't. He was the solution. The Democrats, the demonized souls of those witches and warlocks have caused this trouble to come upon this nation, every single bit of it. And God will deal with them accordingly. But you and I need to deal with them now. And we are to never allow these murderers, these evil, plotting people that would go to this measure for their own pocketbooks, interest, and power, and kill Americans, Chinese, Russians, Europeans, people all over the world, for their power and economic advantage. You cannot trust them with your good, folks, in this country. The Democrats have lost that honor. They stand for everything the devil stands for and fight against everything the good Lord stands up for. The choice is yours. As Moses said to the people of Israel when he came down from the mountain of God, where God had shown his glory to Moses and carved out those commandments on those stone tablets, he came down and he saw that the nation of Israel had greatly sinned. And all of them were guilty of the same sin. I mean, even Aaron, the chosen bloodline that would be God's special priest to the nation of Israel, God's priest to them. He made the golden calf. The guilt of this abomination and sin was everywhere. And Moses came down there and he saw that and he got perturbed, upset. Everybody's guilty. But the gospel was preached and he said, who was on the Lord's side? You better come up here where I am. And a lot of those people that was just as guilty as the rest of them came and joined the Lord. Those that didn't, God opened up the earth, the scripture says, and swallowed them. Well, folks, the earth is fixing to open up against those who sent this virus and murdered all these people globally on purpose for power and for money. As it is written, what does it gain anyone? To gain the whole entire world, but loses their soul to the sufferings of hell. I'm voting red, top to bottom. Trump 2020, folks. God bless.